Sea of Thieves has a Reaper problem, and after skimming lots of social media sites with everyone and their mum chucking their opinions around, it's time to weigh in on Sea of Thieves' biggest bone of contention, well, hit regicide. The Reaper's Bones, originally designed as the premier PvP faction in Adventure, a follower of Flameheart must steal, pillage and earn their glory for the thrill of battle, has become a shell of what it was intended for. Reaper runners are rife, and many players see Reapers as the gold grind faction, and for two main reasons. You can sell everything and anything to the Reaper's Bones. Seriously, this servant will take your ammo crate or your ashen chest of legends, he really doesn't care. This makes the Reapers the perfect gold faction, as you'll always get the most out of your Emissary multiplier. You can simply go from world event to world event to get your Emissary level, and 1 or 2 world events is enough to grant you level 5. Now, you have the ability to see all Emissaries on the map, if they don't clear out before you reach level 5. If they have, like on most servers, you can always hop to a new server using the portal method, or you can continue to do your world events. This inherent gameplay loop creates what I would call soft Reapers. These are players using the faction for a quick buck, and they are only ever disturbed by server hoppers, or hard Reapers who use the faction to hunt for Emissaries. The sheer number of times we've got to level 5 and never have been bothered is common, and I personally love it when a server hopper comes and attacks us, but I see a large number of complaints about this. To exacerbate the problem, the soft Reapers have nothing to gain from not running. You can engage, risk losing everything, and might stand to gain nothing. One could argue this is a mindset thing, as the benefit of fighting is not wasting your time running and being able to get back to doing what you want to do. On the other hand, if you're not confident at PvP, it's very likely you'll lose. Fuzzy Bond has made an excellent point on this, that you never owe anyone a fight, which sort of fits with the ethos of Sea of Thieves. You have the freedom to approach your session how you want. It's just a shame how the Reaper's faction's intentions conflicts with this, which results in the bad rep for Reaper runners. Yes, by design, flying the flag is meant to let everyone know you're down to fight, but the mechanics and general attitude to Sea of Thieves allows it to be broken. This segues to my next point. The second big issue is that the game never really explains what the Reapers are, unless you choose to actually read what the developers have left you by way of a tutorial. See, you can listen to the Servant of Flame, or you can look at the tutorial before purchasing an Emissary license. We covered in this last video that no one in the game can read, or cares to, when it comes to the OG Reaper flag. If you're none the wiser to the Reaper etiquette, then you'll just assume that, like the other Emissary flags, this is an easy way to get more gold and rep. It sounds silly, but someone needs to slap these players in the face with that information. Every time the flag is raised, there needs to be a warning on the bottom of the screen, saying something like, "Your ship has been marked on the map, expect other vessels to challenge you in battle." This was a great idea brought up by UK. That way, these players who have no idea of the Reaper faction's intentions know exactly what they're about without having to do any research. This also bleeds into the lack of warning of the Emissary system as a whole. The number of players that don't understand how valuable the flag is to other crews is staggering. You can easily work it out if you read the tutorials or even if you've seen the trailer for Ships of Fortune. People assume that if you raise this for any faction, it's just an easier way to level up. This is the foundation of the PvP is toxic argument, when a lot of players assume they're being attacked with no loot, but the flag is the most valuable piece of loot to Reapers. How can we also fix the non-PvP reaping? I'm really unsure, as many people will point out running is a valid tactic, and it is. It's just odd that people choose to do it while grinding for the PvP faction. Again, this comes back to the issue of Reaper's Bones being the premier PvE faction. Players aren't rewarded anymore for stealing items in terms of gold, and the rep and Emissary value bonuses only really apply if you've not hit 75 or not completed your ledger. Along with this, I don't think Rare can change it now that only stolen loot can be sold to the Reaper's Bones, as that would make the faction feel super janky. It wouldn't be fair to new people starting the grind, and would mainly benefit Alliance servers even more. It would make much more sense for them to add a whole new faction at this point. I touched on this in my previous video, although I think we can improve the idea. On one of the upcoming seasons, it would be nice to be able to visit a Reaper Legend hideout under the trapdoor. That would be great for having an Athena's Fortune-like tavern, with Flameheart Senior underneath, you know, when he finally gets his body back. It would be more interesting to have a turning point on the northern island of Reaper's hideout, that way you can turn it into an NPC in the overworld. Personally, I'd make this faction level similarly to Athena's Fortune, but you have to be level 75 in the Reaper's Bones to become a member. That way you've participated in PvP Lite to get here. Placing the faction on the Reaper's hideout as well would increase PvP encounters between baby Reapers and the new Reaper Legends, whatever you want to call the new faction. The new faction can accept non-stolen loot with a fractional payout, but equally you can only progress with Emissary flags and stolen loot with an increased gold payout for doing so. That way you have to get into PvP to progress the faction. I would like to see a big fuck off warning added to this as well to make sure this is very clear to players. Alliance servers would have an easy time, but hey, they do with everything else, so we shouldn't really consider that. Alternatively, this may make the seas a bloodbath, but would introduce a PvP only faction and reintroduce PvP as a core part of progression. Players simply do not know how often PvP occurs in this game and how easy it is to lose everything in seconds. But we can't blame these newer players, as it's not really advertised a whole lot in the game. And when looking back on the trailers for 2021 seasons, this is made abundantly clear that Rare doesn't want to market PvP. There's one single time PvP is actually mentioned in all 5 of those trailers, and that's with the cannon rowboat. Why? Well, the PvE content is always more grand than getting hit through your block or dumped on by a galleon of day 1 sweats. I mean, surely everyone should know that Sea of Thieves is a shared world PvPvE experience, yet anyone coming in as a result of any of these new trailers would never know that, especially when you consider that the older trailers spell out to you multiple times that PvP is in the game. It could also mean that the marketing team just don't feel it's necessary to include. I guess we'll never know. Thanks for watching. Do you think Reapers needs reshaping, or is it fine the way it is? Please let me know down below in the comments. If you like this video, drop a like and subscribe. We've got loads more content to come in the run up to Season 6. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.